Hey everybody, welcome back to Magic Orthodoxy. My name is David, and this is a Magic Review. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. I hope you're having a great summer. Hope you're having a great summer. I am. I enjoy summer. Man, I'm so madly in love with this trick. Today we're going to look at PredicTABLE from Chris Rawlins. You could say PredicTABLE. It's a play on words. PredicTABLE, Chris Rawlins. You can pick this up at Hocus Pocus for 50 bucks. I'm at a loss for words. I'm at a loss for words. Ever since I got this, I've been fascinated with it. I wasn't excited about it when I heard about it, okay? Because somebody just said, oh, it's a new way to do Out of This World. Okay, Out of This World was one of the very first tricks I ever learned to do with a deck of cards. And I learned the old, like, 1942 Paul Curry version, right? The original version, Paul Curry. And it's a great trick. And I've since moved on to kind of like a more organic version that only uses half a deck. And I love that version. Been doing that version when needed. But now, I am so in love with this version. I might not ever do the old version again. I love this. If you don't know, Out of This World is done with the deck face down, a deck of cards, right? And it's shuffled. And somehow or another, the way the cards get laid down, they go down into two piles. Now, a lot of the best versions are done with the spectator. They're holding the deck in their own hand, and they're dealing the cards down to one pile or another pile, right? And just doing it on their own. And when you flip the piles over, you're able to show them that they put all the reds in one pile and all the blacks in one pile. Now, there are variations on that, right? There's variations on that effect. But that's it in a nutshell. It's a blind reading of the colors, and they're able to separate red from black. PredicTABLE takes this just to a whole other fun level. It'd be one thing if I said this were just a new version of it, but this has been completely reimagined. And I bet you a magician wouldn't even know what you were doing until the end. They wouldn't even know this was Out of This World until the finale. And then they'd be like, oh my gosh, it was Out of This World the whole time. So here it is in a nutshell. PredicTABLE is a small table game, okay? It's a small table game. I'm not gonna say the name in the title because I don't want it to be Googleable. That's the best thing, is if the spectator sees that game and then they go and Google it, this trick won't come up because it's a completely different title, okay? So respect Chris Rawlins' wishes and don't post the title, all right? So they see this board game. It's a card game, tabletop game, and you say, let's play the game, right? And it's a very simple game to play. There's a rules card in there, and you can read the rules to them. And there's a yes card and a no card, and they get to pick. Do you want to be yes? Do you want to be no? They can pick, and they go across. And then each card has a question on it, like, have you ever had a imaginary friend? And the spectator, if they have, they would put it in the yes pile. If no, they would put it in the discard pile. Another question might come down and says, have you ever owned a pet? You can answer as honestly as you want. The magician, you don't have to lie. You can be as honest as you want. Have you ever owned a pet? Then you'd put it in the yes pile if that was your discard pile, or you'd say no if you selected no, right? So there's a yes pile, a no pile, and a discard pile. The discard pile would be if you answer the opposite of the card that's laying in front of you, right? You can go through the entire deck. And what's great about this is it just opens up. It's just so organic. Now, when they answer a question, you can say, really, you never had an imaginary friend? Or really, you've never had a pet? Or, you still remember the name of your kindergarten teacher? Like, where'd you live? It opens it up to conversation. So the trick kind of slows a little bit down instead of just this fast do. There's a little bit of back and forth. And you learn something about them. They learn something about you. And like I said, you can be honest. You don't have to lie. That's the great thing about this is if you were doing this with a person that really knew you, like a spouse or a kid, right, or your own parents, you don't have to lie. If the answer isn't the card in front of you, it just goes in the discard pile. You can be completely honest. And you learn a little bit something about them. And then once the entire trick is over, in other words, once you've gone through the entire deck, then you tell the spectator, well, you selected yes of your own volition, right? And you answered yes to all these. I had a kind of premonition that you would say yes to all these cards, and then you flip them over, and written on the back is the word yes. And then on yours, you flip them over, and on the back is the word no. And it's so easy to do. It's such a fun trick. It's a beautiful way to frame this trick. I can't wait to tell you a little bit more. All right, Chris Rawlins. You can find this at hocus-pocus.com for $50. What are you going to get? You're going to get the nice box and all the game cards inside. Everything is ready to go. Best news ever, right? The words yes and no are already printed on the back of the cards. You don't need to do a thing. You don't need to do a thing. It works right out of the box. And they're not crappy cards. You could overhand shuffle these, riffle shuffle them if you wanted to. You could make a mess of them. They're going to feel exactly like game cards. They won't feel like bicycle cards. They're not bicycle cards, but they will feel like game cards. Everything comes ready to go right out of the box. And really, when he was doing the tutorial, I was kind of working ahead of him because I already knew how Out of This World goes. And I was already figuring the trick out even halfway through the explanation. I was like, oh, because I was so excited. It was so fun to me. So you get everything you need, right? And it's all well made. Everything you need, and it's all well made. Is it what I thought? Well, sure. Of course it's what I thought. It's Out of This World, right? It's Out of This World. And I know a couple different versions of Out of This World. When Chris Rawlins is in the tutorial, he'll even show you the book, the Out of This World book that I reviewed, years ago. And it'll probably work with the version of Out of This World that you already know, right? It'll probably work with the one you already know. So provided people can't see the backs, right? Obviously. What's the overall quality and production value of the video? You got 2 videos, all right, which is great. You're gonna get one video, which is 1 hour and 30 minutes, and you're gonna learn the trick as I told it to you. There's a live performance outside. There's an intro. They're gonna talk to you about how to set up the deck, and there is a setup, okay? There is a 100% setup. And it's probably the classic setup that you remember from Paul Curry. He's gonna walk you through how to do it, okay? And then you'll get a studio performance. And after that, he'll give you some more performance tips, some more variations, and some notes. The second video is a John Bannon handling. It's only 9 minutes long. The beautiful thing about the John Bannon handling is it's all done shuffled on the table. So instead of the cards being, stacked in a nice little pile, all the cards come out face up and they get mixed and mashed all around the table. So it looks really chaotic. You'll also learn a version where they come out of the box, one at a time, just like a real game, right? In a real game, you kind of leave them all in the card box and you draw them out one at a time. You can do a version like that as well. There's several different ideas that they present to you. I like the original. I like the original classic handling of this. I appreciate the chaos handling. I think the chaos handling works a little bit better if you're doing it with a stranger. I think in that case, you kind of need to maybe fudge the truth a little bit if you're doing the chaos handling, but any of the other handlings, you can be as honest as you want. Pocket space, I'll admit, it is a little bulky, right? It's not as simple as carrying around a deck of cards. And if you're just carrying around a deck of cards, you can do Out of This World whenever you want, right? But when you do it like that, it just looks like a card trick, right? It just looks like a regular card trick, and at the end of the day, it was 50-50, right? Red or blue. I realize it's still 50-50 here, but with this, I feel like it takes it up a notch because of the whole mentalism aspect. You don't know if they're gonna say yes or no to any card, and yet you seem to have predicted every card that they selected that they would say yes to. So I know it's the same exact ending, but I think in the spectator's mind, it looks harder. You know what I'm saying? So that plus the idea that it just doesn't look like a deck of cards, I think it is even cooler. Plus, if they really did Google the name that's on the box, a real board game would come up. It just wouldn't be this one. So it does have a very believable aspect to it. Pocket space, going back to, I have a game wall, right? Where I have board games and card games and stuff. I would just put it right there. Just put it right there with the other board games, or put it with your bookshelf in your living room, or put it, on your DVD rack in your living room. So if anyone's ever at your house and they say, hey, can you do a trick? You can, instead of having, well, I got to run down my closet where I keep all my magic tricks, just grab this. You could grab a book and do a book test, right? And then grab this little board game thing and do this. I think it works perfectly for that kind of organic magic that takes place in your living room. Everything's inspectable at the end, right? There's nothing to find. There's no marks on the backs of the cards, obviously, right? Because the backs are never seen. And it's super easy to do as far as sleights and difficulty level. Super easy to do. It's completely hands off. When the spectator draws a card, you can't control if they're going to say yes or no, right? And there's no stopping halfway through, that old ploy where we're going to stop halfway through and now we're going to switch yes or no. That doesn't happen. They are yes the entire time or no the entire time, and they get to pick. They get to be yes or no. It's completely up to them. So I like that aspect too, that you don't stop in the middle and switch. So there's always that kind of fumbly, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So that's great too. Like I said, setup wise, it's 100%. 100% setup, 100%. But positives, again, I'm gonna stand by my claim. I think this is the best version of Out of This World I've ever done. Well, we'll say that. This is the best version of Out of This World I've ever done. I love this. Negatives, I think it works best if they don't know you. I think it works best. That way you can lie a little bit. If you need to, you can lie a little bit just to make your pile have as many cards as theirs, right? Because who knows what kind of life you've led. So if you want to kind of keep the cards on your side as high as theirs to kind of make it look fair, you might have to fudge the truth a little bit. In the John Bannon version, you would have to fudge the truth a lot. But I think it still works for people that know you, which sometimes with mentalism, you kind of have to be, you worry about, like, I don't really do a lot of mentalism with people I know because they know me, right? Or I know them. I can't really guess their birthday or their star sign if I know them, right? So I think this is mentalism you could do with a person that you know, which I think is also great too. Worth your money, it is $50. It is $50, which is considerably more than a board game, considerably more than a magic trick, but this is one of those things where it's all needed. Like, you need the packaging that it comes in and the cards. The cards have to be well made. They're completely designed from the back and the front. They've got this handwritten, printed yes or no on the back of each one. It had to be completely R&D'd from the ground up. So yeah, there's a little bit of extra expense to it. And of course, you could just say, well, I can do Out of This World without buying this. And you could, absolutely. But I'm telling you, for me, this thing is awesome. I love this version. So Predictable, Chris Rawlins, like I said, you can pick this up at hocus-pocus.com. I hope I've introduced you to a brand new trick, or at least answered questions about a trick that you are curious about. And if that's the case, you can always do me a favor. Hit like, sub, and follow. Doesn't cost you anything. Just push those buttons. That helps me out a lot. It really does. When you subscribe to this channel, it really makes my day, and it just shows your appreciation for all the hard work that I put in doing these videos for you day after day after day after day after day. If you'd like to really show your appreciation for me, you can always join the channel, right? You can join the channel for a couple bucks a month, and then you're gonna get extra videos. You'll get extra content. I always go above and beyond. I give the member section lots of videos to watch, and so it's definitely worth your money. And I'll stick some info about that at the end of this file. Big, huge thanks to hocus-pocus.com, and that's where you can go to pick this up. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, did you know there are over 300 videos and reviews that you've never even seen here at Magic Orthodoxy? It's true. And if you join the membership section today, you'll get unlimited access to that exclusive content. What are those videos? These would be the magic tricks that I buy with my own money. These are the tricks that I want, the tricks I am the most excited about. All you have to do is click the join button on your screen. And there are 2 exciting ways to join. For $2, you'll get access to 8 extra videos a month, 8 brand new videos a month. And for $5 a month, you'll get access to 12 new videos a month. Not to mention, you'll also be part of an exclusive community of almost 500 other magicians. And if you can't find the join button, I will put a link in the description of today's video. Thanks, guys. Bye.